As you mentioned, my name is Amineh Kakabaveh, and I am Kurdish from the Kurdistan, Iran. I was in Iran and Kurdistan together with my family until I became 13 years old. But the Islamic regime, they wanted to execute me and jailed me because I didn't want to wear the force veil, and I, from very early age, I realized that was a very inequality among girls and boys in the family, outside the family, in the society. And also because we are Kurds, and the Iranian regime, they don't like, that was ethnic discrimination against the Kurds. This is still going on. So I couldn't go to school. Even if I went to school, still my sisters and brothers and all the Kurds in Iran, they can go and have some, in school, primary school, and some in Kurdish. So that was also, you first to learn Farsi. I have nothing against Farsi, but I think it's every kid's right to learn in their own mother tongue. When Peshmerga came, when that was actually, is, as I mentioned in my book, so I was born in March 73, but in my passport it's December 17. So it's a 3 years in differences, because I don't know when I am born. when I am asking my mom, when did you get born? And she said that, I am so sorry, Amineh, that was a rainy day, but I don't know when. But Mom, there is a lot of rainy days in Iran during the spring. But this is someday close to the Navruz. So I am a fourth kid in the family after 3 boys. Mom had me, she was 20. So she was very young when she married with my dad, and they are still married. But 10 kids, the first 2, my brothers, they died because of poverty, because of non-medical doctor. Even if there is just 40, maybe 50 years ago, but it is in Iran, there's so difference between the countryside and the rich and the poor. So even when I grew up with my family, I and my brothers, we worked to survive.
What was your parents' background?
They are actually very poor. I am the first one in my family going to university, and after my 2 younger brothers, and I had in Sweden. So all we are 8. 2 youngs, one went to university in Iran. My father, he was a sailor. He bought and sell animal like sheep, cows, and Mom, she was working. When I was 5 years, I saw that my dad, those times he was very angry when he couldn't give us enough food and clothes and socks and shoes. And very early age, I decided that I said, I want to work. I don't want to my father buy anything for me, because I don't want to have him angry at my mom, because when he couldn't pay, so he and Mom, they beat, or he beat Mom. That was, in that culture, women, they can't do that. That is why I worked with Mom, spin, and make clothes, especially for men, that costs, with hands, everything with hand, together with mom. And in the summer time we work together, my brothers, and we have, in many countryside in Middle East, even in Iran, there is still a kind of aristocracy, the agha, the adel,
aristocracy.
Aristocracy. We said adel in Sweden. They have still, there is a lot of rich families. They owning a lot of soil, a lot of land, and they have fruits, and we worked in their farm, and we didn't get money. We get back fruit. Mom dried them to the winter, and some flowers, some nuts, some beans, green beans. We worked for those things during the summer and autumn. I picked a lot of fruits, in different kind of fruits, just to help my family. And then when it changed, when I became Peshmerga, my family started, as in many million other Kurdish family, to wave carpet, very nice Iranian. So my sisters became very, very good one in that issue. Until I came to Sweden and I became, I was a refugee. Then I helped them, and I still help them economically, my sisters and my mom and my dad. First of all, a girl in Iran, in Kurdistan, in many countries in Middle East, in Africa, unfortunately, we have not the same right as boys, our brothers. So even if you were all of them, so you have to wash their socks, as you have to serve tea, coffee, wash their clothes. Okay, even you were, but they are free, go outside, they can be angry at you, they can, very, very early age, the guys, the boys, brothers, they take, the same role, the same responsibility of, like mother and father, on their sisters. So that get me very, very angry. The circumstance, like, you were Kurd, you were women, the regime, when the regime attacked our village, I was maybe 9, between 8 and 9, and then they came because we had not the water inside. Each 2-3 families, we had the water outside our, house, 5 meters, and they came and they beat me in hands, in here, because they said that you should, when you were washing dishes, so you have to, the same clothes you were, you have to put the arm, you showed your arm. That was forbidden in Islam, in their Islam. I mean the Shia, but my family there is Sunni, but that was no problem if you in the countryside shows your hair, your body, the Kurdish, the Kurdish clothes, the traditional clothes. You can see actually a lot of your part of body, but that was very new. If you in the official places, they beat you like. I was just a kid, and I was so angry. I put down my, many times, and I said that is, you are not my father. Why you were doing the injustice was not just the family, the mosque, the religion. That was the regime too. So the oppressing, against women and girls, it is so hard. I can't find any word to just describe the strong feeling still, because I know exactly how it feels. Because I usually say that poverty, you can see that, but oppressing you can't, because it's a more feeling. How you feel that you are not, treated like a humanity, like a person. You can't talk. you know, you can talk high, loudly, you can laugh loudly, you can see people, you can go outside without, you know, controlling your sexuality. You were only a sexual object. In many countries, unfortunately, the honor crime or honor oppressing because of, you know, nobody should see you, nobody should talk badly about you because you were a girl, and until the night you were married with a man, just a man can touch you, and that is the man you were married with. All of those, I had been, you know, I really hated the injustice. I really had a strongly about what, and I saw my mom, and I always told my mom, I never ever want to be like you and my grandmother, never ever, and that irritated my mom so much. She said that, what do you want to? Do you want to become Peshmerga? Okay, I can go and buy a Kalaschnikow. So I and mom, we fight it, and she just wants to irritating me, and I said that, no, I don't want to have your Kalaschnikow. The Komala, the Peshmerga socialist group, they will give me, mom. So she became more irritated. We had a cow because we were so poor. We had no places for our you know, animals, but one cow we had in the summer, and she always, you know, that is joking or funny. And mom said that I want to sell the cow to buy a Kalaschnikow because she wants to irritating me. What I'm doing, I'm just a girl. All the girls, all the family daughters, they want to become you know, having the, you know, white or red dresses and have a man, and I want to have a Kalaschnikow. What is wrong with my daughter? She cried. You know?
So you were different from a very young age,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
you felt different from a very young age.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. I do remember that when I was 12 years, many people came. They didn't, because they were so afraid. I said that everyone is coming and said that a girl, she's just 12, she wants to marry. They should not come here. When I became Peshmerga, I want to hurt them very much. But 2 families came and they wanted to have me to their son because, you know, they were from the city. And I remember one day I baked bread together with mom because I helped mom. And the family, they were very, you know, I liked them very much because they moved from our neighborhood to the close city named Bukan. My family actually live there now. So she said that, Fatima, we want to ask your hand for the question. Amineh should, if you want, she wants to get married with our son. I said, I'll go back. What are you talking about? I want to be. I just, you know, I went off and I said, I will become Peshmerga to hurt everybody. They have, you know, child marriage. What is that? Oh, my mom said that. Look, all the girls, they will be happy. Mine gets upset. What is wrong with me? I cried out the totally. She blamed herself because that was her fault. Because I am very different. But actually, my grandmom, she's also very strong. Even my mom, she's very strong. But she didn't understand that the injustice I feel, that was even her feeling. Because actually, she also, when she get married to my father, that was not because they fall in love, because both were so poor, and my mom was beaten by grandmom, my uncles, and she was just 13, 14 years old. But by that time, that was not Peshmerga. My mom realized many years after, when I was in the mountain, I didn't have any contact with her. I think after 3-4 years, one time when the walkie-talkie, you know, in the Peshmerga, suddenly my uncle said that, because my uncle was her brother Rahman, he lives in Sweden. He's my uncle Rahman, mother's brother. And he said that, Amineh, I talked to your mother and she wants to talk to you too. With just one, I think that was half a minute, the only thing I heard Mom say that even if I was, that time Peshmerga was around, I should also became Peshmerga. I understand now why you chose that way. Wow, I said, my mom, she was very young. She was 20 when actually 19 because she's 65 now. So 65 years old is nothing in Sweden, but in Iran she's like 85 years old woman, and she has, get birth 10 kids. And my brother, Ismail, my brother, he became Peshmerga. He was also jailed in Iran and tortured when he was 15, just because he did a caricature of Khomeini. A young boy, they can do caricature of Khomeini. That was enough when they found, and he was in jail. And he became Peshmerga 2 years earlier before me. Then I realized during my 27 years in Sweden, at least 26 of them, I'm fighting in politician, in NGOs against honor crime. The honor crime maintains many times much more by women than the men, because the men is outside, they don't see, they don't have the same control as the mom. So my dad, he beat me twice, and he actually was very proud of me. He wants to, I should work, I should go to school. But because of the Khomeini, when that was revolution, even during Sham, my mom said that Amineh should help me with the kids. So I helped mom when she every year get birth a kid. So many times women, because they are not ever, they are not the conscientious, that is the same. You have to, because of the woman, if they do wrong, if mom, she did, because she was so angry at herself too, because what's wrong with her? She grew up a girl like me. I am more like a boy, because my behavior, not get married, not having, the same clothes, you were like a boy. So if you talk highly or say no is the bad thing. You should always say yes to everything. I couldn't, because I said that was so injustice. I said, why, Mom, that is wrong. Look, you were not happy by yourself. Nobody is happy. Now, woman, why I should? Why do you want to, every mom, every, if parents, they want to have their kids be lucky. I said that there is not happiness. I see that we should do something. If we don't, if we never could, we should have the resistance against patriarchy, against the religion, against the honor crime. That was, I also was teaching by the socialist group, because if you say or not, in the whole European country, even in Middle East, the socialist groups, they took part for women's rights against religion, because religion in many culture, even in European culture, the Catholic, they don't want, they have to maintain women's, in the same problem, in the same oppression. In Islam, because my family, they are Muslim, my mom believe in God more than any more, but it does not mean that you should accept everything. My dad teaches us that let them be individuals, He didn't like, of course, I became Peshmerga. He didn't like that I was special, but he did like that her daughter, she can earn her own money. That one, for example, my mom, no, she had to be at home. Maybe some boy touching her. My father said that you should trust Amineh. I know, even if she's naked outside with all the boys, I know my daughter. So think if my mom could say that. The problem is not my mom and dad. The problem is the whole society, because I do remember that they blamed my uncles, the neighbors, my aunts, uncle from my father's side, and my aunts in father's side. Why you allowed Amineh go with guys' work? You don't know that it's not bad. He said that Amineh, she's my daughter, not yours. Go and take care of your kids, not mine. So my dad was very individual. We are not, fortunately, we don't belong big family clan structure. In those big families and clan, you know, the name of the clan is also another. This is the same in English, clan. Yeah. They are you know, more controlling both women, also young guys. I mean, the honor crime is not just the we girls, even the guys. For example, my younger brother, I love him, Ibrahim. He was just 11 months younger than me, because when I was 45 days, my mom got, pregnant with him. And mom said to Ibrahim, follow Amineh. Maybe she talks about Peshmerga with others, that is not allowed. And Ibrahim, he loved me, and he also was, the mom's, the control on that mom became. So Ibrahim was both, somebody who imposed, the problem, and somebody's victim. So very, in the honor crime, most of the guys, they are both victim and they are also this person, they are oppressing their own, because they don't know. That is why here I am going and teaching. I said that, do you know, guys, you have to be aware about your role, what kind of role the family give you. That is dangerous. You don't know, because if you impose in your implementation of those oppressing on your sister, you can even do against your own daughter. That is not good, because you don't know how it feels. So,
well, there are these divisions. I mean, religious, gender,
patriarchy. Yeah, very strong one.
And you reacted very strongly against this.
Yeah,
at a
very
early
unusual.
age. Yeah.
Very unusual. That is unusual, because everyone, even here in Sweden, after the Sweden, you can imagine that in those schools I am working, they said that, we didn't know. At 13 on Friday, I will have two girls here, 20 years old. One is 90 from Malmö and Gothenburg, the Expressen.
Mm-hmm.
They want to interview them. Both, they're both here, their father and mom, they are from Iraq and Turkey, and like that. But they are actually grown up here in Sweden. But they didn't know before 2-3 months ago. I talked to them, I interviewed them exactly in the same room about their situation. They didn't see, because this is so normal in honor crime, honor culture. If you are a girl, you are, fighting, you are resisting, you are unusual. That's more usual to be like everyone. Everyone is oppressing everyone. You have to, yes, you're sitting down now. I was, I did. I cried. I was the last one in my family eat. When I didn't, I eat very, in Peshmerga time, I learned to eat, very fast. But I was, but the whole time they said, you have to hurry up. You have to work. And, I remember that many times. And when I ate food, my tears ran, because I feel that the injustice was, the whole time. Even if they know, even my family and other families, they were not conscientious ever about why they behavior, because the whole society is sick. The whole society, the whole system, they are against our rights, women's rights. There's a very strong religious patriarchy tradition, a lot of traditions, even if they are not religion, but they are so close to each other. it's very difficult to separate them because they say that that's our religion, that's our culture. To be honest, only hope, to having hope. I had my hope was the Peshmerga. I said one day I dreamed that I'm flying like, a bird. I told the whole time, every time I saw that the only, unfortunately, still in Iran, in Kurdistan, all the 4 parts of Kurdistan, this the same, because as you mentioned that there is so many different kind of violence against women, against you were Kurd, you were kid, you were girl, all of them dimensions together. That was more strong by that time too, because that was war. That was every night. That was extraordinary. You couldn't go outside. You couldn't show any light. When they came and took my father and tortured him, I was alone. I was maybe 9 years together with 2 younger brothers and sisters. The regimes, pastor and revelation guards, they came at the middle of the night and they said that you should to open. We didn't know, you should not open the door because that was so, when they said that is we want to talk to your father, we want to buy a ship from him. I said my father has now, because my father he didn't, he was so fear, he couldn't open the door. So I was his daughter, I opened it for the regime, and they took my father. When they came back with my father, that was in the 5 in the morning, and Dad was swollen, wet, bloody, and I was so scared, I couldn't sleep. And when I saw Dad in the door, I said, Dad, I was so scared. I thought that was some dog. They are coming, but when I just pushed my hand under, our door, that was very, poor circumstances we lived in the village. That was my dad, and I opened the door. I really tried to draw my dad because he couldn't go. So he said he couldn't talk. I didn't know what I can do. That was 5-6 in the morning, because until 6:30 you should not go outside. And then I give him some water, and even among the pastoral, the revelation guard, that was nice person. I mentioned in my book, the guy, he was a nurse. He knew about that. He couldn't also sleep, so he put some medical in a paper, and he wrote because I learned to write, Farsi, because I didn't allow my mom to know. I just brought my sister and brother's books. I read and write because I want to learn about when Peshmerga sending some message to write back. So he gave that two tablets, a piece of medical, and just wrote that give him those because he gets better.
But this kind of thing, that this extreme violence, every day, makes you grow up very fast, and it leaves a trauma that I think then later on you can almost not share with other people. I mean, it's almost difficult to communicate that what you have gone through.
No, it's in Sweden now. Not in Sweden, because for them, I do remember that many of my friends, they couldn't talk because in Sweden, in European country, you were psychological problem. They think that but I'm saying that there's millions and millions of people in the Middle East. Look, Palestine, the Kurds, today, the Iran and Iraq war and so on. Just Sweden had not had a war. 17 years ago, the World War II, many countries were in trauma. Of course, I told to Swedish people, when you make a weapon, when you send to other countries, of course, that is the consequence. The consequence of the war is because we have weapon, we have injustice, we have different kind of that is why they should understand. But my hope in Peshmerga, that was one thing, and the other was also when I became Peshmerga, each of us had the same experience to share. Even when I came to Sweden, so in many years we were together. Every night we talk about our experience together with each other. I think why I became, and many of my friends, very, very strong. That is why we talked to each other. We talked because during the Peshmerga time, when you were a kid, nobody listened to you. Nobody, especially you are a girl. So everything you have here, the only thing you can cry. Sometimes crying is actually very good, even when you were adult. That is not bad to cry. Every time I said that all men, if they cry, they could be more, relaxed. So that is why the Peshmerga Komalas, the socialist group in Kurdistan, Iran, the only one. First, that was 1982. They opened, armed the women, a group of women. I have the picture in my book. And then PKK. Today, even United States and many European countries, they said that they are terrorists just because they have women and they are fighting against Islam's fundamentalism. That is why. Because we are not terrorists. They want to kill us. They want to rape us and them. In Iran, still, if you were virgin, they want to, rape you because non-rape and non-virgin women, they don't, even you can go to the even if you, not to the hell. That is one. I have two friends of mine.
Paradise.
Two of my friends. They are here in Stockholm. Close friends. They were Peshmerga. Their sisters. They did against them. They were 14 and 16 years old. So always I told my mom and my dad, because my dad said that please don't go to be Peshmerga. I want to, because in Iran there is collective, what is punishment. If your daughter do something and your son, so you can sacrifice, you can be. But I said no, that you don't know how much the regime hate women to become, they do have own opinion. I have an opinion about my life, about the Kurds, about women, about the party. I am socialist father. I am atheist. I don't believe in the religion you believe. That is not, I couldn't have the discussion with that, never. But when he ran, when I came to the mountain, he actually knew, because to talk about fear and violence, before I became Peshmerga, he was jailed and tortured because of nothing. He was actually, he didn't support nobody. He just wants to support his family. But he was very afraid, my dad. He came to the mountain. I think that was a distance, maybe 10 meters. He said that, Amineh, come back. I don't want to, you and your brother both together, the olds in the family, please come back. I said, no, father, I have my own opinion. I'm not your daughter, I'm the Peshmerga's daughter. That was hard. I think when I became 19 years old, I have been thinking about that. Why I said to my dad, yes, because of that was all my hope, to become Peshmerga, to survive, to fight for each other and show that.
You were so determined. Was this something also among your friends or other female members in your family? You were unusual.
Yeah, but that's what I had. My uncle Rahman, my mother's brother. We all of us believed in him because he was educated, also educated to become a religion leader. But he became socialist and communist. Understand, that was why, if a man in the family, everybody trusted at him, he didn't believe in the religion. Something is wrong with the religion, with the system, with the government. That was, and then became my her uncle's son, cousin Ahmed, he's also here, and my oldest brother. So the man, that is why also I many times want to remind many people, men, all of them are not a patriarchy, all of them not hate women, all of them, they are also good at, even the Muslim men, even the, to be honest, in Middle East, until I came to Sweden, all my ideal in feminists, that was men, Kurdish men, and some Farsi, because in the Peshmerga we had both, Anna's wife, for example, Haida, she also was in the same group, Peshmerga, as us. Well, I was a little girl, I couldn't meet her, but I meet her later on, when she came back, like Dr. Zahra. So we had a lot of men from Tehran, from Isfahan, from other parts. They also were socialists, and nobody could have their own opinion and live in Iran. That is why we all have moved. The only thing to become Peshmerga. And I am also mentioning in my book I'm doing now, Susanne, oppressing and injustice make you also very strong. If you, from the day you were getting born, you were poor, you have not doctor. I think I was probably 8 years old first time we met a doctor. So if you have not, if we had bread, we had not cheese on the bread. If we had the cheese, we had not the bread. If we had the tea, we had not the sugar. So many times I do remember that my mom, we get back a piece of the bread. And she laughed that now she has more than us. I do remember she was very angry at my dad because she baked 20 bread, tuna bread, and dad ate up each of them, and they fight against each other because of that. He was hungry and she had 4 kids to feed up. So, I mean, all of those, and mom talked and grandmom talked, I saw by myself. Even we were not very, very poor. That was more poor. We helped other. They were more poor than us. If we had, for example, 1 kilo yogurt, mom said that, Amineh, can you, or my grandma, if we had 4 eggs, we give the 2 to others because mom said that we should share. We can chew in the soup, my mom did, so to the others. So always, I was so happy. The only time I was happy that I could go and give, to the poor, or bake bread, to go, wow, I'm so happy I was. Other people can also have. I had those strong, very strong feelings for people. Because if you are not poor, you don't know about how important is, even wealthy. That is why I'm talking to the Swedish people. You have democracy, you don't know how to make democracy, and you don't know when you lose them. Tell us. I have been poor, I have, enough with all the, actually nobody can have the same experience in that house, in the parliament. That is why it's a so strong, also, feeling for the struggle, for the, also to confront. In my former party, left party, I had my problem because they don't understand where with what kind of experience we do have, what we are talking about. At least that is true, because they have not. I know that it's not easy having those experiences, but at least they should listen. They should listen to women. Women, they have idea. Women, they are progressive. Women, they know what feminism really is. They know what patriarchy really, how it works in your skin. goes in, the religion's oppressing. That is the problem. They don't listen to women. I mentioned in my book, they listen to the conservative men, even migrant conservative men, not progressive women, Swedish or migrant women. We have some potential to, by ourselves, create an imagination or create, idea.
Right.
Because when I listened to what socialism was, that was a class society, and justice between the class and gender, and all of them, those matters socialism was contained. That was in my own life. But I said, I don't know, I don't need to read the Karl Marx Capital to understand what is going on. And the Peshmerga was very also good. They had radio, and my parents, they didn't always like it, and many times I took the key from mom and had somewhere, because she put they did everything, because the regime also came. When I was in the house arrest, they said that Amineh, she's not allowed. If she listened to radio, we kill you, my mother and father. That is why they put in a commode and they locked with them. But I found another key to open that. Sometimes mom was not at home during the summer, especially because this had mom was outside and spin. And I get back with a sister and brother, to make them, sleep. I listened to the radio. That was radio time. So, the Komala's radio, you could, the boarding cast, that was very horrible to listen. But I wanted to listen. That was not any. Sometimes some message came, but you can learn so much of messages. But when Peshmerga were in our village, they used the mosque. The mosque every Friday. We heard the whole time how to behave, how to be girl to behave, how to take care of mom and dad, how all the hadith and the Quran. That was enough. But they used the mosques, and they teach us sometimes, and they had many shows like theater, and there they are talking about those injustice, everything. You don't need always read books, because actually many people in the world, unfortunately, are still, they can't read and write, and even my family, but you can't think. That was not allowed having books, that was, the punishment is killing, as you know. But the radio was good, and I also want to meet them. I always want to go to the mountain, because the mountain was absolutely my most freedom, because you were there. You maybe met Peshmerga. That's enough in half an hour. Listen, what do you think we should do? And I never talked to my mother and father about that. Never. That was secret, totally secret, because I was frightened both from mom and dad and the regime. And that was why last time when I actually twice I wanted to become Peshmerga, I just left my home. One time I couldn't because two other guys wanted also to become Peshmerga, but the regime surrounded our village, and that was horrible. And I was younger, though, a couple of months before I actually in the end succeed to fled from my home to the mountain. So that was also many of my father's friends. They were teachers. They were people more leftist in our religion. More. They had discussions, and I was listening more. And I knew what I wanted to. I knew I wanted to die for others' freedom, because I knew that, and still I know that the freedom, democracy, and that is very important. And if you have some strong feelings, some wishes, some tendency to do something, you can do that. That is why I'm nowadays saying to many women, yes, you can go on to school. Here in Sweden, everyone, if they want to be something, they can be. This is true, because when I came, I was 18 and a half. When I was 19, I went to school, read from A, B, C, D, even if I knew a little about it, but not at school. I teach by myself, self-discipline, like that. So I tell them that, look, my parents, everybody think that my parents, they were, educated, maybe doctors. Nobody trusted me before I read my book. I said that no, I'm from very poor family, but we have our opinion. That is not my family shape, my individual Amineh. I have to, that is you believe in your individual, thinking. Why we can't do that from other country? Isn't this true? Why they want to have Amineh, she's from a Muslim country. Oh, she just said a yes or no. Now, I am telling them, when you were here 2019, I was 13 in 86, 87, and the mountain. I had the same idea for the society, the same idea, the same view, the same values as you. I could have my boyfriend at the Peshmerga. Nobody said that you are not allowed. But here, many family can, have opinion about it. I said that was the same man, the same group. But what happened when people move from a country to the other country? What happened with their, values, freedom, the freedom of, women's rights? And when I'm talking with many people in the honor crime thinking, I said that in many countries 40 years ago, before the Taliban came and in Afghanistan, and Khomeini came to the power, that was freedom for women. The religion has not the same strong imposed in people's mind and life and future. There were a lot of dictatorship. We had Shah, Saddam, Mubarak, he in Libya, but they were more secular, that was secular countries. In Afghanistan, women were like me today, 40 years ago, before US helped the Taliban and Mujahideen. That's true. That is true. Why we should not talk about that? Many people don't know about that. In Iran, during the Shah, nobody said that you have to. Still in Turkey, when the Atatürk, he was a nationalist, very, very horrible person, but the constitution still is based on secularism. So kids, girls not allowed to having well in the public school, just in the private. Erdogan wants to change everything. They changed in the university. Even in the university, you couldn't work. 2013, he changed everything. So I mean, people in other countries do have also ideas, values that is very look like West and European values, but you can't oppress them. You can, mention them. You can't write them. You can't talk about them. You can't express them because that is not allowed. Look, many people, they are in jail in many countries. That is why today we are here to having, the hearing for David Isaac because of the freedom of speech. So that is very unfortunately simple that say that people in other countries, they have the same feeling, the same, but we have different of culture because of they have created different religion and culture for us. You say that we are feminist country, feminist government, feminists everywhere, but in the reality, it is actually many things is not good. For example, salary for women and men in the same, when you are doctors, when you were, a lot of other similar, we have not the same right. Look at the political parties. Why in Sweden there is so very high, highlight feminism every day, but we have never had a prime minister. She was a feminist. With the violence against women, every year 22 women killed. Last year, 22 women were killed by their husband. An honor crime killer, there is not including at that. More than 6 honor crime girls, they are killing by their own brothers and fathers and mothers and cousins. We have all those, and just in paper, we have 6,000. They are reporting to the police for raping in Sweden because we have changed the law. So even if relations in Sweden, if you were married with a man and you don't want to have sex with him, or he does want to have sex with you, but you said that yes, I want to, that calls for rape. So we have a lot of very, very modern laws, very modern, legislations, but it is not, unfortunately, in the practice, not implementation of that.
You also talk about like the surprising difference in life expectancy, even between the city and the outskirts, the suburbs.
Yeah. That is true. I live in a suburb just 20 minutes from here. The life condition is, we have many suburbs there. They live 20 years or 10 years, 15 years less than people here in the city center. There is not the same law. We have a lot of religious schools. They just segregating kids with Muslim and with Christian and others background. We have a very, very, very segregation areas. That is why I work in the another submassive Nipytni, the anti-racist feminist organization, teaching in school in the suburb for migrants about their rights. They have very, very, very different rights, especially many groups and nationality. They are coming very strong patriarchy, religious, fundamentalist families or countries. For example, in many countries in Middle East, the law, the legislation, they oppress the woman. For example, you have not right to, marriage, to get divorce and so on. And they bring with themselves. Here we have a law, but they have not the same, the law is not for them. Particularly not because of the Swedish people, they don't want to have, because they have created the system, the political system has created the very, very strong segregation. In areas, in schools, there is maybe 500 kids, not one of them has one parents from Sweden. That is unfortunately very, very segregated society. And even if in the United States or just the American people or just Swedish people, they are, only the German people, they living together. That is not the same dynamic. That's not the same, I do believe that we have to be, experience together, living together, and working together, going to school together. The girls I met, they didn't meet one single Swedish people except for some teacher until they became 16 years.
You mean it's like you're living together but you're living apart?
Exactly.
And this is a problem.
That is a big problem here. At least I think the segregation is more problem for women and kids, because when you are more segregating. You maintain, your culture. You really want to have, a hold and keep all the things, because you want to have, you're searching for some identity, and the strong one is yours. You have nothing about that society, and parents, they are so, afraid for their kids if they could be a part of the Swedish society. 2 weeks ago, and the suburb names Järva, the Rinkeby, Tensta, I had lessons for the men. That was like 50 and 20 women from different kind of country. They said that we want also to be there. Can we do that? Yes, I said, that is good. So the men and women, you can listen at the same. So, and they had, we had a translator in Arabic and Farsi. I can Farsi because that was a lot of Afghani guys and women. The men, they said that we don't want to have our kids to be a part of the Swedish society. I said that, what is the Swedish society for you? They think that sex, alcohol, non-moral. I said, aha, so you think that the Swedish people just having sex and alcohol, and the kids, they want to have sex? And I said, you don't know. In our countries, the law allowed sex with kids, because in many countries from 12, from 15, it's, here in Sweden, it's a forbidden, it's a rape, it's the most horrible crime can happen to having sex with a kid. She's under 15 years old. Do you understand? So many of them said that we brainwash our kids in their schools before they became 12, 13, so they never ever can be. That is why I meet a lot of them. I know that they are so afraid for the society. They don't meet any Swedish people. And when they meet, the Swedish people are so afraid to talk to foreign, how to explain, how to be both friendly, but also, for me, I understand them. I understand absolutely why they are saying, but I said, no, that is not true. The Swedish society has their own problems, but there is not just sex. Even here in Sweden, in many cultures, woman cannot say no to her own husband. No. But in Sweden, the law allowed both women and men to say no. But they have no idea how, how our laws and our society works. That is huge, what can you say? A huge utmaning in Sweden. Challenge, yeah. A huge challenge the society face. That is why I both as politicians and social worker, and I am president of the Niputni Sumis Varken Moreller Cuba. When I am out abroad, outside Sweden and inside Sweden and inside the parliament and outside the parliament, what I see that the big mistake all the countries, even United States, even Germany, even Sweden, the whole European country, they do. They have a lot of contacts, a lot of affairs with many countries. Sweden pay a lot of aid to many countries, but unfortunately it does not go to organizations. There is just government to government. Those governments, they never show the reality of face of the society. On all our countries we have migrants, but we do not live, we do not about each other. We read about each other. That is why yesterday I wrote on my Facebook, I said that those people you are talking about, I am talking with, together with, to talk about the suburb. You said that, who are you talking about me? But if you were there, you talk together with them. I live there, I buy food in the same shop, I go the same tunnelbana and subway, and you know, that even if I'm coming here is very different for me, you know. To come back in my, there is different kind of circumstances, different kind of, you know, we have the same air, but very different kind of places. Of course, in Sweden, it's a very dramatically, you know, you're having people in this society, but they don't know. I had in that room 20 women from Botkyrka, just 30 minutes from here. They had been in Sweden in 30 years, 41, two of them, but they never ever came to the Gamla stan, in the old city, in the parliament. That was their first time. That was so amazing, because I paid their subway, you know, they had not money to pay by themselves, because we have thousands migrant women, they never ever earn their own income. That is, the man and somebody paid them, if not the society. I mean, people don't know about that.
What is it? Is it lack of communication? Because the word integration is thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
So when you said in your book that there's a lot of opinions but very few insights.
Exactly.
I like that.
Exactly. That is why I still mention about that. Still, we have more. When I wrote the book, the segregation was bad, but now it's more badly, because we have, every year, we have at least 90,000 people coming here in different kind of reason, and you know, and we had 1 year came more than 200,000, 2015, and for the society like Sweden, big country, very very secular, very extreme, you know, individual. People are coming from different kind of, you know, society. It's not easy to you know, tackle, or what is handling and you know, make the integration is not possible, because people in 18 countries lives in somewhere. Everyone is there, not the Swedish people. That is why. That is not because the migrant, they create the segregation. That is very bad political, you know, decision made there. I remember that 20 years ago I told to the left party, please don't now allow people by themselves when we are coming like migrant. Just have a, you know, of course have a desire, have a wishes, that's important, but you have to talk to them. They have kids, families. If you were there, you would just talk your own language. You want to their kids, they should, you know, more integrate in the Sweden. They said no. That's individual rights. We don't want to do that. I wrote in my book, it's a time to now have the moderate, actually in the Congress, they decide that they want to have the same law, that if you are coming and you want to live there, you want, you know, we have a law about eget boende, your own, you know, where you want to live, a choice by your choice. That is good, it's a very human right to do that, but in the beginning you don't know about the society, you do not about, maybe you, if you are lucky, you can be taught by some other people, but many of them are already segregated, they can't so much. A lot of them, they are integrated, they don't live, I know about thousands migrants, they came, you know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they are not there. Their kids, they are, you know, they are very strong, they have houses here in the Östermalm, absolutely in the rich area. So all the migrants, they are not poor. All the migrants, they are not non-educated. They are a lot, they actually, the service of the society, the migrant give to Sweden. Taxi services, all of my friends, they are working with the older people, nurses, like, you know, teaching. There is a lot of people they are educated, but we have also many thousands, 100,000s they are not. Particularly about women, especially, you know, now because of the war in Afghanistan, Syria, and Iraq, we have very much people. they are from, if you're talking about Afghanistan, 40 years of occupation, of war, many generations they have destroyed. In Iran, even we have high educated people, very, very, non-religious people in Iran when they are coming to Sweden. Absolutely a group of Iranian. I don't talk about Iranian people. They don't wear veil or non-religion. A lot of Kurds. There's not a lot of Turks we have. But to be integrated, to have the same, the same right. The Swedish law is very, very, based on Child Convention, based on the, Human Rights Conventions, UN's, all the conventions. This is very modern, but unfortunately, or this is similar like them, but this unfortunately not implemented for everyone in this at the same time. That is why I'm a politician. That is why I still fight. I know that it's an injustice. We have a lot of poor people too. Swedish poor, men and women, even them, not just migrants. Here you have women's right, the child's right, workers' right, but they don't want do it like the law says. That is why I became more, we said street bart, more fighter. I said that in other countries they wanted to kill us. Why I'm a parliamentarian, I should not fight for the others. What is wrong with you? Understand? How can I explain for people in Kurdistan, in Middle East, for women, for others, for my parents, my sisters? I see, I feel, I see by my eyes the oppressing, honor crime, religion, fundamentalism, racism, everything. But I don't say nothing because I should shut my mouth, because that is in Sweden you have to be, lagom. That is why the lagom is, I don't know how to explain, to be low, not
to draw attention to yourself.
Exactly.
You leave things as they are.
No, even not just yourself, even of those problems. You can go surrounding the problem, not talk exactly about that.
But it takes enormous strength, enormous effort.
Yeah, I have done. I have paid a very, very, personal, not just the Iranian regime has done. Actually, that was harder to feel here. Seriously, in Iran, I do know what the mullah, the operas in Middle East, in Turkey, that. But here, I didn't know. I didn't know the socialist people in the same party. They were so enemy of the freedom I fight for. I don't know still, I don't understand how you can be feminist, socialist, or liberal, or a person just like you in the Sweden. You can fight, you see that a lot of, child marriage, forced marriage, a lot of, abuse. We have 250,000 migrant kids and young people on the list. They are oppressing because of honor crime. But you should be low. You do not pay attention. That was a very high price, but now everyone talks this for, here in the parliament, but they are not outside together in to see that, except for when it's the election, every 4 years, you're coming and talking to people. Those people don't believe at you. So that you can just do until our votes. You are not among us. And when it became the problem, it's easier for you to talk because you were by yourself, migrant. Now I'm saying I'm more Swedish than you. Because I actually do my duty. I implementing the law. I by myself every week, I impose, implement.
But it seems you are driven. You have this drive, this inner strength, the will to change things. So do you feel like it's your duty, or you feel it's like something that you are? It's like inherent.
Both. When I'm politician, this is my duty too. That is why, instead to, if a person, well, everybody says that, how can you be? You have, they protested against me, they called me for Islam, for racism, just because I am staying for something they don't. I staying for human rights, for women rights, for everybody's right, but they don't. They came here in this room upstairs 2.5 months ago, my left party I belong to. They came and they gathering the whole Swedish media to say that we kicked out Amineh, but I already by myself left the party in an interview. Swedish television names my truth, min sanning, 1 week before. But they were so interesting, they called them when the program will be sent. They didn't talk to me. I knew at the same time they sent, Everybody says that, what is going on? I said that I don't know. If they called me a quarter before, I could say that you don't need gather the whole Sweden. I have also left that. Actually, after the left party's leader, I was the first one. I get so many person crisis, during that. So people know who I am, what I stay, what I'm working for. I think that if you were so particularly if you were socialist and feminist, you have to also show. You have to have those. How can people believe in you that you change if you don't want to change anything? If you don't offer anything, if you sacrifice anything. I sacrifice my mother and father. I have my father and mother, I can't talk to them in the manual phone because of the regime still treat them badly because my fight, But my dad says that if you are my daughter, until the day you have your blood and your you should fight. Still. My mom said that no, you should not, but my dad, because they know that which price I have paid in 32 years. Why in that democracy I should not be that I am, that I actually fight it against? Because I am saying that in the hell there is different kind of degrees. Even a person has different kind of face, different kind of degrees. Okay, there that was poverty, regime oppression, Islam's fundamentalism, when we were Peshmerga, that was, I every day lose a very close friend, sometimes 100 together, when the Saddam, bombed and Iran too. So I lost 100 of my friends. I was one of them in 17 days, I mentioned in my book, in the chemical attack. So I was also a victim for that. But fortunately I didn't die, because I came one day after to that place that my friends were killing. I have survived in so many horrible situations, why I should not in democracy when I'm parliamentarian 2019 in this modern country stay for those same values, the same vision, having vision, that is also about not just willingness, also have some vision for another society.
It's also interesting that you come out of a very difficult situation. You have a lot of anger, you have a lot of reason to be angry, you fight, but you are not someone who is vengeful. But you come from a culture that is vengeful. So how come? How come you have this you're someone who seeks dialogue, who seeks understanding and who promotes that? What is that? Where does that come from?
I think, I don't know, maybe many of people they listen here, they don't agree, but I think it's my socialist ideology. I think from very, very beginning, they teach us violence is not the only thing we seek. We we Kurds, we don't want to have weapon, we don't want to have war, but they force us. In my ideology, that was, to live peacefully, especially that socialist group I belonged to, because my socialism and communism not Russian, not Western. That is from my own, when I was kid, when I was 5 years, I listened. This is the group of men. They were Kurdish. They were not sent to Russia, and so that's true. That is true. That is why they had a vision. They were during Shah in the jail because of their own opinion. The Shah, United States, yelled. But when they came out, the Khomeini went to kill them. Many of them, unfortunately, are killed. Unfortunately, I lose thousands of my friends, comrades. But still, they are searching for, dialogue. And I also developed, when I came to Sweden, I think every society forming your, values, your personality. I was in Colombia 2-3 weeks ago. Many of those people from European countries, especially from French, they said that, why, exactly the same question, why you were as you were. You were not, a person they want to have revenge. And I said that because I'm from a society, everything is revenge. I hated that. I hated that if you are killed, you have to kill another back. I hated that because you beat somebody, you should be beaten. Somebody understand why to search for the reason to fight against, to, have education. I believe in education because I think all moms, all mothers in the world, if they were educated, at least grow up boys. That is not right. You should be more stronger than, okay, my brother, they are stronger physically. But here, there is not the same. Well, think about that. Think all our countries, they have so, making weapon, or what is, making weapon. Think if that was a pen and paper and books they send to the whole country. Today there is war. Believe me, it could be peace in the whole world, but they don't want to have. Believe me, that could be, if instead for all the jazz, we have, and German has US, think all the billion of dollars they could have in welfare, in society, that we could live together without war, without the environment catastrophe, or the the climate problems. I mean, many times, many hours I have been thinking about that, even when I was not the parliamentarian. Of course, all of them gives you perspective, ideas, Of course, you can live without any anger. You can have anger for another society, but not against a person. When they killed Saddam, I cried. In that way, even I couldn't see Gaddafi when they did. They were absolutely more enemies against socialism and Kurds and women. At least Kurds, Saddam did. But I don't want to kill people. I don't want, I think that is horrible. I am against that. So I was so happy that Jalal Talabani was president of Iraq. He was also against, he was against that Saddam should be executed by, they hanged him. The same Iranian, because from I was 5-6 years, I saw that how they kill people. Even when I was kid, in the Ramadan and Qurban, there is religion, Islam's different kind of ceremonies. They slaughter the animals. I hate it. I said, no, please don't. That is why I'm vegetarian. My mom said that you never ever can be a Peshmerga. You cry for everyone. How can you be? I said, I am a good socialist mom. To be more humanity to, especially we women, because we have been oppressed the whole time. We are not very kind to each other. Believe me, here in that parliament, in all the parties, even at work, in many places, we women, we have also many problems we have to work with ourselves. I think so. Because the patriarchy, you know where you have them, but you don't know where the woman. My dad, he was a dad, but I didn't know my mom. What is wrong with us? We don't talk too much about those very important issues because we have not time and we just want to, but that is, we have the biggest one. Yeah, the patriarchy is a global, society's problem against every woman. But we also women are the half of society. Think more, in many countries, we women are more, than men. But why we should not also by ourselves? And that is why I did. I was a girl. We are 3 girls among 5 boys, and I said that, Mom, you hate all of them. Why you don't want me to fight? Because I am a girl. That is, yeah. Yes. They said by the time, but now they are proud. They said that, think if the other sisters were like you. I said that if they have the same opportunity, but they had not. Because when I grew up, Iran society was not the same. Islam is, but those 30 years in Iran and Afghanistan and all the Middle East, it changed,
I want to come back to your time with the Peshmerga. You said in a way that was a time you were free, you felt free.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, yes, because that was my dream. That was my, each night I dreamed, each day I dreamed to become Peshmerga. When I came to them, of course, other problem starts, but you at least are free like a bird, You were free. Nobody says that you were not a person, you have your own opinion, you were a girl, you have not. You have other, that was directly in the war, directly, you have to hidden yourself in the mountain, you have to, because Iran wants to kill us, so that is why we couldn't, during night, just to be among people and talk to them about our vision, about, women's rights. And I wanted to. That is why, I immediately when we came to some villages, knock on the door and said, oh, that is Peshmerga woman. All, they gathered around us and, just talk about, why the idea is good. That is because of even we women, we have our right. That was wonderful, just to talk to women and that they have rights. They have their own rights as an individual.
You even say that small things like learning to swim, riding a bicycle, that is liberating.
Absolutely. I learned to swim. To me, that was the most freedom I get ever. And when I came to Sweden properly, I also, my uncle taught me to run a bike. For me, that was, wow. That was more important than getting a car license. I actually have that one in more than 24 years. After 2.5 years, I had strong. I have to learn. I have to do everything that in Iran they are against women's rights. All the rights. That was wonderful. I have a picture in my book that I am learning in 16 degrees water, because in the Kurdistan's mountain it's very, very cold, believe me. That was cold, but still I remember I remember how the body, but I wanted. I was so angry. Twice I wanted to, just drown. But my friends, they came and picked up me. You were younger, how is when you were want to be taught. Well, now my sisters, they are going in Iran. I said you have to learn because it's so important. Unfortunately, those people I work with in the suburbs, the migrants, many women, they can't. Many of those girls, they are living here, but they can't because they don't allow them to go in bikini. And many of them, they don't want to have burkini, which is right. Which Sweden has also not succeeded to having, women could clothe up as they want to be taught, to learn things. That hurts me too much because I know by myself the feelings to not be allowed, and when you, at least at the end, you are a free person and can't swim. That is a big thing. It's nothing in Sweden, in Europe, and in America, but it's in big things in other countries because there's so many million of hundreds of million women. When I was in India, a lot of Indian women, they have the sea, they have the water we can use, but not by themselves.
It's also dangerous, they can drown.
Yeah.
Children can drown.
Many children in Sweden, now there's law, everybody has to teach the kids. Many kids drown every year, there's a migrant kids. I know 3 in my suburb, 2 of the kids, they drown. Last year, one. So that one of my friends also in Denmark, they were visiting here, their kid, he couldn't, and the parents, they can, when that happens something. Yeah. So that is why a grandma also drowned in Stockholm because she wants to help the grandkid. So that is a big problem, of course. If you want to have the same lifestyle, of course it's a human right to having the same lifestyle to swim. But they have taken from us now in many Islamic countries, they have separate for men and women, but it costs. In Sweden it costs nothing, but people can. In other countries it costs. Unfortunately, because of my age, they couldn't send me because in the Peshmerga you should be 18. But for girls that was 15 because a lot of girls, they came because of forced marriage, because of family, because of child marriage. Many of them also politicians like me, that their own belief. So I had my brother, and they never sent both of us to the war together. Twice I have been close because they shoot us in the middle of the night. Many times, of course, with helicopters and bombing, all those that is collective. But the other one, we were in group. I actually mentioned in my book that Sarah and Hassan, we were 5 in the team. 2 of them were killed, and actually after that, after Sarah and Hassan, I totally stopped to eating meat. I said that to kill, human being and animal, this is the same. We are, this is so brutal to. After that, I changed much my, many things that is, we are killing each other. It is not the meaning with the life. But of course, I know, if I was Peshmerga today in Syria and in Kurdistan, they are Daesh, and Turkey, they are killing. Of course, I could also be Peshmerga because I know, even you in the United States, if they are coming and killing your kids, you can just sit there and looking at that. You want to do something. That is why a lot of women in Kurdistan with shawl, with clothes, with dress. They're resistance. They do against the Turkish, for example, occupation. I exactly know. That is, you said that how, because you never know if you have not had the experience. You never know how the frightened is when your heart, when you were very afraid. You have a lot of values, a lot of big, but suddenly everything is black. And what is that? When they are killing with weapon, the only thing you have. Nobody look what US done against the Kurds. They were together and fight. Actually, that was not just because of the US bombs, the Daesh's gun. That was because of the Kurdish fighters. They lose 12,000 men and women, young, during 30 years. Do you know? 12, but maybe some more. 12,500 at least. They were under 30 years old. They were killed in the war at Daesh. How many? Fortunately, not so many soldiers from US, for example. I don't want some soldiers in US to be killed. I don't mean that, but he betrayed the Kurds. Because Turkey now, they went to that was we women, we fight it. And those Islamic groups, when a woman killed them, they said that they were so angry. They didn't want to be killed by a woman because they couldn't go to the that is true. That is why the women's fighter, the US, Trump has betrayed. Not just the Kurds, even women's rights, because that was so important. So I know that even if you are a very human person, very, but when they wanted to kill you, your people, they destroy your country. There's ethnic, discrimination and genocide against your people. Of course, I could be Peshmerga again. Well, of course, I'm very, in many terms, I have still hope, but I am also very worried about what is going on. There is, in West world, the problem is that some of groups, instead to fight against, fundamentalism against women's, oppressing, they try to relativize, to say that no, that is their culture. We in US and in Sweden and in Germany, we had the same. We fight. Yeah, you have not justified 100 years of struggle. You should say that no, we don't accept. If there is oppressing, if there is against the law, you should say that no. Not please, no culture, no religion, no oppressing or is oppressing. You should stop it. But we have a lot of cultural relativism in the socialist groups and the workers. Unfortunately, that is my fear. My fear not just for we have racism and we have Trump and Viktor Orban and Swedish Democrat here. My fear is why they grows up. Where is the rest? What happened? Why they chose Trump instead for a woman? What is wrong? There is. You can't just blame all the people. You should also blame in the politicians. What is the problem? Why yesterday they came in a social democratic for the first time among the LO, the union that had been in 100 years very, very, very close to social democrat. And today, 27% of them, the workers, they vote for Swedish Democrat, not for Social Democrat. Something is wrong, of course, with the politicians too. So that is my fear. I said that 2 years ago. If the Swedish Democrat not be the biggest and the next biggest in this last year's election, they can be next year. Next election. Unfortunately, there is the tendency is going to. That is my fear. My fear is that the world goes, more war, injustice, fundamentalism, racism. But we have also another potential, but I don't know where is that, why they are not gathering together, why they are not collaborating, why they,
What do you think it is? Did we not learn from history? Do we learn from history?
No, unfortunately not. Especially in Sweden, we don't. I think it's in many countries. The story unfortunately repeats.
Do we take democracy for granted too much? What we got, the rights that
sometimes the people do it. Unfortunately, many times, but you think that, but democracy that is very, very, very hard to create, but it's very easy to lose. Very easy. There's some people, I know, I left in Iran, Iraq and Turkey before I came here. And I actually went around the world. I know that our democracy is so important to maintain but develop to better, not to spoiling that one. Just, say that, no, you know that and women's right is absolutely one, because we are more every society we are more or half, and all those people and the men they want to have power. They are against our rights. That is actually the most threatened against democracy. That's our rights. But if women has not right, this is not democracy too. That's true. So we in the US we say that there's a democracy, but if Trump is in the power, and for example, on the Swedish Democrats comes, they are against everyone's democracy, women, and not just black or migrants, because the abortion belongs to us. To be independent, economical independence, this belongs not just to us, the society. Without the welfare, how you create the welfare, have the society at home and take care of the children and the older people. So
actually I think what you mentioned before, the importance of education, that's actually what Peshmerga did in the mountains.
Exactly.
Because you fulfilled like a social service, right? But also an educational function. So this is probably one of the key things that is missing.
Absolutely. Education, even the meaning of education. In Sweden we had, I am so happy that I came 27 years ago. I didn't came last year, 2 years before and now, because our education system was another. But now it's so, we had the long learning. I remember that when I had my Meister, I was 30 years old. All of them were 50, 55, 65. They said, Amineh, I was young. Why you are in hurry? In Sweden, we became professor when we are retired. I remember that. You go and work, not just part-time. It's stressful for you. Many of my friends, go, but that is, today, everyone wants to be the best. Everyone, that is not about just education, it's a competition. Competition, just the society has changed so much. Others, they are the same age like me, they are born here, my Swedish friends. They don't understand too. They said, stop, you have family and other life. I said that you don't know how the democracy is created. Somebody should fight for maintain and develop.
It's a very thin line, right? Between love and hate and between democracy and totalitarianism. It's actually very thin.
Yeah, that's a thing. That is very, very thin. I always, I am a very optimistic person. I'm not pessimist. I'm not so negative. But I have fear. I have a fear that we don't want to understand each other. We don't want to. Not just we don't understand. We don't want to understand, especially those people in power. Because all politicians have been, now I am running for period. I change everything. Next time comes the other group. Nothing is continuing, you know. That is why in Sweden has been also changed. We had the Power Party, Social Democrat, and suddenly, you know, during 18 came moderate, and after that, you know, car build and the, you know, privatization, and then a period to even the Social Democrat became a liberal, you know. So everything is liberal ideology, a competition who is the best liberal. It comes, that's a true, but nobody talk about. This is a circus, you know. Headlines in the media is more important than our democracy.
Yeah, it's not about values, it's about...
Exactly, competition of who has more headlines, who are more like in the Facebook, on the Facebook like that, you know. The struggle is not just there. The struggle is to people know about what kind of future, not just Sweden and America and West, what kind of future we want to have to stop all the horrible, you know, accidents like climate, the war, you know, we create the war, and we create also the climate threats. That is not by itself. I think just to be as I am, a lot of people, they feel bad. They have not the same problem as me. I have my family. In 32 years, I have just one time met my father. I have a lot of sorrow. They have not the same problem. They should every month, you know, I think I should pay when I get my salary. I should pay my, you know, send money to a lot of poor people, a lot of friends, you know, in the mountain and the, you know, camping refugees. Of course, I have all them, but there is. I have also different kind of fight, of course, but I'm saying that if I am sick, if I'm not strong, who should do that? Somebody must do something to show the way for others. Of course you have problem. Of course I am also sick many times. I am tired. I don't sleep. I'm also a person, but I think that if you are strong enough, if you have some willing for a change, you can, you know, success. You can, you know, come through a lot of problems. You can manage. You can, you know, you can do that because you have to believe in every person's, in every, you know, individual's capacity. Otherwise, I don't want to be socialist. Not social worker too, because in my work, in my professionality, there's also giving hope to very, very, very poor, very alcoholic problem, you know, violence, everything. So every day I meet, today I helped a girl. She didn't want to get married, and the family forced her. I said she was 20, so I went to her school in that area I was. So every day I have the problem, you know, on my table, on my phone, in my SMS, in my Instagram, Skype, you know, every day. But I give them hope. Resistance, resistance, resistance until you win.
We let that be the last word for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.